Today is World Read Aloud Day. Welcome. My name is Deborah Baptiste Samuel, and I'm excited, ecstatic to be sharing with you today. I'll be reading Buried Treasure, a story found in the First Aid Reader, Book C. When we speak of buried treasure, we think at once of gold and silver and diamonds hidden in the ground. This story will surprise you because it is not about any of these precious things. Mr. Bushytail and his wife lived in a hole high up in a tall tree in the middle of the forest. They were such a happy little couple and had just set up house that spring. Now it was autumn, and they were gathering together all the store of nuts they had been collecting for days. Never did you see two such busy creatures as they were, running here, running there, to carry nuts, one by one, to a hole they had found at the foot of their house. "Well," said Mr. Bushytail with great pride, "you really are a helpful little wife. You've gathered as many nuts as I have. Now we need not fear for the winter, for we shall have food quite well off." Mrs. Bushytail was too busy to reply, but she waved her tail in pleasure and then set to work harder than ever. Suddenly, they heard footsteps coming toward them through the woods. The squirrels looked at each other in alarm, and Mrs. Bushytail shut up the tree like a flash of lightning. Mr. Bushytail stayed behind for a moment so he could scatter some fallen leaves over the nuts at the hole, and then he too scampered quickly up the tree. Alas, he was just that second too late to escape being seen. "Oh, look! There's a squirrel! See, Elsie, a squirrel is there on that branch." "Oh, David, so it is? Why, there are two of them." For a few minutes, they stood there talking and laughing and gazing up into the tree. Mr. and Mrs. Bushytail looked down and to their horror saw that at the foot of the tree, just in front of their little storehouse, stood a boy and a girl. Suddenly the boy noticed the little heap of leaves and bent down upon his knees. "Look, Elsie, look at what they have been doing." "Nuts," said Elsie, "nuts. They were hiding them when we came along. They are watching us now to see what we will do." Two pairs of bright little eyes kept watching David as he picked up a nut from the hole, cracked it with his teeth, and began to munch. "Try one, Elsie." The girl picked up a large nut, but suddenly dropped it again into the hole. "David, it's not fair." "Why not?" he said. "We found them. They don't belong to anybody." "Yes, they do. They belong to the squirrels. But squirrels are not people." "No, David. The squirrels have worked hard to gather these nuts, and it is their winter store. They are winter sleepers and may starve to death if they cannot get food during the cold months. Think of what we should feel like if we lived in a hut in a wood and some great giant came along and stole all the food we had stored for the winter." David dropped the second nut he was holding. He looked a bit ashamed. "It does seem rather mean," he said. "I didn't think of it like that." "I'll tell you what we'll do," said Elsie. "Let's cover the nuts with the leaves again and hide behind a tree, and we'll see what happens." "Right," replied David. Mr. Bushytail was trembling with fear and anger, and his little wife was almost in tears. To their astonishment, David and Elsie suddenly covered over the nuts with the leaves again and walked away. How they scampered down the trunk of that tree, these squirrels, with soft little noises of delight, finishing the task of burying their treasure. From their hiding place, David and Elsie watched and were glad. "I'm so pleased we did not rob their little bank," said David. "Yes, so am I," replied Elsie. "They are safe now. Isn't it fun to know where their store is hidden? We can come and watch them digging up the nuts again." But although they came back several times during the winter, they never saw those two squirrels dig up their treasure again. Here's the reason. Shortly after David and Elsie had gone home, Mr. Bushytail said to his wife, "These two giants will come back to annoy us again. I'm sure of it. We must move to another tree tonight. There is no time like the present." In the light of the moon, the two little squirrels dug up all their winter hoard and moved it to a hollow tree in another part of the wood. "There," said Mr. Bushytail, "we have finished the job at last. Now we are safe. We can enjoy long sleeps, and when we wake up now and then, our food will be fine and handy." And that is why David and Elsie never saw those two squirrels again.